Hi everyone, welcome to Math Online with Rocky View Schools. My name is Mrs. Van Duzen. I will be your teacher for your math course. I'm going to start by introducing myself just briefly. I'm going to do that by showing you a great picture I got of myself this summer playing in something called the Masters Tournament. I'm number 44 in front, and I was quite pleased with this picture. Head was up, puck was on the stick, etc. I had a good go in that tournament. My team ended up getting silver, and I ended up being their lead scorer. So that was kind of fun. So hockey is definitely one of my passions. My other passions include my family, my girls, my puppy dogs, and I live at a lake and I love to do some boating activities like wakeboarding, etc. So let's go back to our course. Now I arbitrarily picked Math 20-1. All of my courses are set up exactly the same way. The structures are the same, so I just thought I'll pick a grade 11 course, so grade 10 and grade 12 can kind of look through the same course. So when you land on your home screen, you will see something very similar to what you see here. That you're on the home screen, what course you're in, my name, school email, phone number. I have left my on-site help to be announced. I'll update that very soon, I think. We've got that sorted out. And then online help, there's this Zoom link right here. You see that my cursor turns into a link. You should click there, download, and make sure that that Zoom help room is ready to go. In case we want to meet online, it's a fantastic resource when we don't get to see each other face to face. This due date chart will be on everyone's page. The only difference with my diploma exam students is that you might see that there's a column for November writings in case there's actually a November diploma. Otherwise, it's fairly similar. Target dates is what you want to stay close to. Okay, either right on, which would be beautiful, or within a week or so. And then you will stay very, very close to target time. If you get behind, I press you 3 times during the semester. First time on November 15th, where you're going to start to get hassled by me to get the first 3 modules in 20-1 done right before Christmas. Then you're going to have the next 2 done, and then as the end of the semester rolls around, the last 2. So please watch these dates and try very hard to stay close to the blue dates. Now we're going to run through a little bit of where to find important information. The first thing you're asked to do is to go to the startup info icon here, and it tells you the very first thing to do is to email me. So if you have not yet emailed me or replied to an email that I've sent you, you could pause this recording, quickly open your email and do that. Tell me what school you're in, what times you attend school, in your particular school, not the block, but the actual time of day. If you're an outreach student at one of the Learning Connections, then you could tell me a little bit about when you plan to do your math, just so I have a little bit of an idea. Watching the orientation video is what you're doing right now. There's a startup checklist, a quick start guide, and then there's a quiz to do. The quiz you wouldn't do right away. You would go down and you'd read all these documents that you're asked to read and print. So you should have your course outline printed, your formula sheet printed. Note the course outline is a legal document. So at the end of the course, if anything comes up in terms of due dates or whatnot, you can always refer to that for what would be applied if there's any kind of conversations. Then we're going to back out to the main screen, and we're going to go into the module 1 tab. I'll just pick that. You'll notice in each of the courses there's a beginning review that's optional, and I have put the key in there and a formula sheet that helps you with that material. So if you would like to do those, feel free, but I won't be asking you to hand it in. I won't be marking, etc. There's a Learn Alberta login. You don't have to use it that often anymore, but I left it there just in case you need it. And introduction, and we're going to pop right into lesson 1 here. Now, when you go to complete your lessons, I do want to be very, very clear with you that you need paper, lots of paper. So there are a couple of ways you can go through the course. You can have just a binder, and you can start at the very beginning and do all of the practice and all of your notes all together, and then you can highlight what you think is important. Or you can break out your work into 2 sections, notes that you could put in a COIL notebook, and then you could have a binder to do your practice in. That might cut down on how much you have to look at come studying time, but totally up to you as to how you would like to organize yourself. Just before I go into the structure of the lessons, you should know that you can collapse this screen on the left, this toggle here. This is called a hamburger actually, and you can get rid of it or you can bring it back. It depends on how you would like to have it. So I'm just going to collapse it at the moment. On the right-hand side, you have a table of contents. Now, I do notice sometimes in Moodle, the table of contents is down at the bottom. I'm not quite sure why it does that, but if you're not seeing the table of contents that I'm going to run through here, you might want to indeed go down to the bottom of your screen and you'll find it. Each of my courses are arranged the same way. The focus page here that we're on tells you what we're going to learn. Then the next section, the launch section, tells you kind of what you should already know. And then this section I just find very brilliant. There are some are you ready questions. So you have your paper and pencil out and you try these are you ready questions. There's not tons. This one has, what, 3, 4 with a couple of parts. But the beauty is there's answers linked. So you can open the answer, find out what the answer is, close it off again, and double check your work. If those go really well, fantastic. You don't have to do the next section, which is the refresher. But if it doesn't go all that well, I've tried to go and find some refresher videos on the particular content. So here in this one, I actually have quite a few. You'll have between 1 to 4 or 5 different things you can go to refresh. Then you're off and running on the lesson. The Discover section often asks you to try something. Now, if you don't totally figure out the math and the lesson, that's totally cool. It's sort of like if I was in a regular classroom with you, I would say, hey, okay, let's just try this. What do you think the pattern is, or what do you see? And we'd have a bit of a discussion. When you're working in this venue, you probably don't have someone to discuss things with. So you may have to just do this, and then you can access the answers here. This one says to share it with a partner if you can. Again, if you're working on your own, no problem. Sometimes there's answers down here and sometimes we address it later in the lesson. So don't get too worried about the Discover section if you're not 100% sure what's going on. Then the Explore pages goes into the actual content in the lesson. So in this lesson, we have 7 different pages. So there's lots of different things to do in this lesson. Sorry, that was my puppy, and I'm just going to bring it over here. In this lesson, we've got, as I say, 7 different pages. The different pages tell you different things to do. So sometimes it'll say, do this question. This one starts with asking you to make a glossary. So in each of the lessons, there are different places where there'll be new terms coming up. And so it's wise to either put them in your lessons or make a separate section called glossary, where you could actually just write down all the new terms that come up. However, again, you want to organize it. Then the second Explore here asks you to, again, try something. There's a little recording. It's all the different things that I would work into a classroom setting when I go through content with you. So you work through all of those. Let's say we've finished all 7 and you go to the Connect section. And it says, complete the lesson quiz posted under the Assess tab or using the quizzes link in the activities block. So now it's important, if you're new to Moodle, to try to figure out where in the world do we go find this stuff, right? Where is the lesson quiz? Well, it's not here. So when you're not sure, just back out to the home screen. There you are. And then it said, oh, maybe under the quizzes link. So we could go here. And there it is, Module 1, Lesson 1, Arithmetic Sequences. Or it said, let's back up again, go to the Assess tab. And this tab shows you everything you have to do for marks in my course. See if I just go all the way down. So then we could also get to the same place by going right here to this quiz. And then it says, do you want to attempt the quiz now? So now one thing I want to make really clear with everyone, nothing is timed in my courses, except you have to watch your time allowances when you take an actual supervised test that you have enough time to do it. But otherwise, you can open things, you can look at them, you can, play around, etc. So we're just going to attempt this quiz just to show you the structure of what it looks like. All of my quizzes have 5 different questions in all the different levels, and you get 2 attempts. So my suggestion is try the first attempt 100% on your own. Get your notes out, get your textbook out, but it's just all you. You're doing all of the work yourself. And it'll grade you. It'll grade you red if you get it wrong, green if you get it right. If you get all 5 right, you're going to get a 10 out of 10 and you can move on. If you don't, then go through the questions you didn't get right. I don't provide the right answers, but write it down in your notes and make sure you know how to do it for the second attempt. If you're not sure, then you get a hold of me and I will help you out with the questions. And then the second day when you come back, I have a 24-hour time lag. You can try it a second time and get your 10 out of 10, okay? If by chance you do it twice and the second time you don't have 10 out of 10, get a hold of me and we'll make sure that it happens, because these are just kind of my homework checks. Even though they're called lesson quizzes, they're really just my daily, I want you to get this content mastered. Okay, let's go back to the home screen, and we were down in Module 1, so let's go back to Module 1. Once we've got all our lessons done and our quizzes done, it says, oh, let's do an assignment. Well, let's click the assignment and let's attempt it. It's a quiz. It's in the quiz feature, but it's actually an assignment. And you'll notice all of them have 4 questions. Occasionally they have 5. Most times they have 4. The first question asks you to go to Exam Bank and do a quiz there. So if you clicked here, it would take you out to Exam Bank, and then you would click on, this is not quite what it looked like last year, but you click on here and you find your particular section. I'm going to have to actually update at this, I guess, but then you would start the test on the particular sequence and series. So the link has changed a little bit there. I might have to update that. You do your quiz. It explains here how you get the proof of what you did. Now, I really want to drive home the fact here that you only do this quiz once in the first question here. You don't log into it multiple times. I can see your IP addresses if you do it, and you can get in tons of trouble. So just don't do it. If, however, you find questions you don't think are fair, then do make sure you take screenshots of those questions and you pop them along to me. Maybe there's a typo. Maybe you're just totally not clear as to what happened in the question, and I can give you some guidance, and you might garner a mark or so from that. So then you'll drag and drop a little certificate that looks something like this. Obviously, do better than I did, 5 out of 10, and take more than 40 seconds. It was just an example. And then you drag and drop that. You go to the second one. Sometimes it tells you to go to the same section. Sometimes it tells you to go to another section. So here you're allowed to do a second time of sequence and series. These questions are randomly generated, so you might end up having some that are the same. Totally cool, a bit of a bonus for you. But again, don't do it more than 2 times. If one of these attempts is really poor, you can come to me and say, hey, Mrs. Van Dusen, like over email, I got 4 out of 10 on one of them. Could I do it a third time? And I'm a pretty agreeable teacher. I'll say yes, that you might just have to, bring me a coffee if you see me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very agreeable, and you will likely be allowed to go and do that. Question 3 is just a tracking mark. I want to make sure you're actually doing my course. So I'm going to be looking in the background and making sure that you are actually doing everything by going into something called a Moodle footprint and looking here. You can type something in here. I had lots of my grade 12s give me funny math jokes last year. Sometimes they'd upload a picture of what they'd just done, like a hockey picture. You don't have to do anything here. It's totally myself that will be doing it. Then the last part is where you would traditionally think of what an assignment would look like in math. There's going to be these long answer questions. See, here, you're going to get a pencil and paper out. You're going to do these all by yourself. You're not going to ask a tutor. You're not going to ask a parent. You're not going to ask anyone. If you want to ask me, 100%, I'll give you some similar questions to look at. And then you will complete this, and you will make sure you know how to scan it into one document. So if you're having any issues with this scanning, if you're a WeConnect coordinator, a WeConnect student, ask your WeConnect coordinator to scan it. But if you're having any issues, just pick up the phone and talk to me so we can get that figured out so you get everything in one document. Once you've got your work in one document, it's all ready to go, you drag and drop it here, and then you click Finish Attempt. I'm not going to totally finish this, and then Submit All and Finish. I don't want to submit something that's not done. Okay? Then let's back out to here and go back to Module 1 so you can see the list. So let's say we've done all the quizzes, we've done the assignment. There is no project here. Sometimes there's a project. Then I'm going to know that you've got stuff done. I'll get this marking done, and I will approach you and say, hey, Cheryl, You're now ready for the test. What day works for you? Let's coordinate with your person at your school and let's get the test ready. Okay. You can approach me if you'd like and say, hey, Miss Van Dusen, all my marking is in. How's your marking schedule going? Do you think you'll get your marking done soon? When would work for a test? Okay. As you're preparing for the test, I do have a Module 1 practice or a module practice things. If you look at it here, I can expand it. Whole bunch of questions, but the beauty of what I found here is it's also got all the full solutions. So students have given me feedback that they really like that extra practice getting ready for tests. Then you take a test and it's automatically marked and you get your mark, etc. One other thing to mention before I wrap this up is to keep your eyes on the calendar. Basically, all these target dates and final due dates are on the calendar. So if you're not, looking at this due date chart, you can also see them on the calendar. And just because there's not something posted every day doesn't mean you don't have work to do. Every single day, you should be working on math. I will kind of give you a guideline that each lesson is structured to take 1 day. Each assignment is structured to take 2 days. Each project, if there's one assigned, is structured to take 2 days. And the final module test is structured to take 1. So every single day you should keep in mind that you should be doing a lesson and a quiz, a lesson and a quiz, a lesson and a quiz. Okay? 2 days you do an assignment, 2 days you do a project, 1 day you do a test. That in general is how you go about doing my course. I don't think I have much else to share with you, so I hope you found this really helpful, and I look forward to meeting you all this semester. Thank you. Bye-bye.